This is the JLT Cold Air Intake with the snap-in lid design, available for all 2015 through 2023 EcoBoost powered Mustangs. Now you guys should be checking out the JLT here if you're looking to go with one of the most popular no tune required intakes on the site that offers the unique feature or flexibility with the airbox, namely that snap-on lid. Now this gives 2-3 owners the option to run this thing either fully sealed like it is now with the ultimate in protection against high heat soak or intake air temperatures, or you can install it with the slotted lid design here, and that will give EcoBoost owners more of that traditional intake experience with a little bit more noise or growl under acceleration. Now the JLT will also combine things like the rotomolded plastic construction in addition to the high flow oiled filter here and million-mile warranty, all for right around that $400 price point. All right, moving into our features list here, guys. And again, first and foremost, as I just mentioned, easily one of the most popular systems on the site for the EcoBoost powered Mustangs. Well over 500 4- and 5-star reviews. Not necessarily a feature per se, but certainly worth mentioning. Now, moving into the main feature with this particular system, and one that I think is very cool, and again, it is that snap-in lid design, which again does give EcoBoost owners some options, I should say, on how you want to run this airbox design. For instance, leave it sealed like it is now, and that is going to be your best bet at reducing those higher intake air temperatures and ultimately keeping your performance up. On the other hand, if you wanted to go with more sound or a little bit more of a visceral experience, you could always install the slotted lid design here, which is going to deliver more of that turbo noise, more of that intake noise that a lot of owners have come to expect, you know, with the flip side of maybe getting a little bit more heat into the system there. The best part is, guys, this can all be done in a matter of seconds. There's no hardware to swap lids. Everything just literally goes right into the included weather stripping, and that snaps into the airbox design. So very easy to swap if you wanted to mess around with that, which again is something I think we can all appreciate. Now, finally, the biggest feature, of course, with any intake, power, right? Power and throttle response here. JLT doesn't give us any exact dyno numbers with this particular system installed. However, they do state an airflow improvement of nearly 26%, which should lead to some pretty solid gains without the use of any custom tuning. Shifting gears, let's get into the build and construction of the JLT. A lot to like here again from the brand, as we've come to expect over the years. For starters, guys, we are looking at the rotomolded plastic intake tube here, which is working in conjunction with the computer design airbox, massive airbox that really does a good job of filling out the engine bay. Looks really solid under the hood here. And of course, we're tying it all together with the signature S&B oiled filter. Now, oiled filter is traditionally gonna flow a little bit better compared to a dry option. Yes, they might need a little bit more maintenance in terms of re-oiling, but that's not necessary for every 50 to 100,000 miles, depending on your driving conditions. Now, when it does come time to clean things up, again, pretty simple here. Just clean it, re-oil it, you're good to go in a matter of minutes. Really not all that difficult. We did mention the snap-in lid design. You do have the sealed lid there with the JLT logo kind of etched in. Of course, they do kick in the other lid here as well. It's gonna give you some options, and again, that is one of the big features about this system that I really dig. Last but not least, guys, JLT kicks in all nice hardware here, really solid couplers, nice rubber couplers, good to over 400 degrees, so you know they're gonna hold up to being under the hood, in addition to their signature million-mile warranty in case you run into any issues. Price point for the JLT is gonna live around $400, give or take here a bit, which I will say, despite the quality and the unique functionality of this intake, it's still gonna be one of the more affordable options when you start comparing or cross-shopping this with other sealed intakes for your EcoBoost from companies like Roush, Corsa, and Air Raid. So if you value that unique functionality, you want some options with how you want to run the system, this is going to be one of the only systems to deliver that unique functionality in the category, and again, at a very fair price point. All right, last but not least, let's cover the install, guys. And any intake, especially a higher quality intake, gonna be a pretty easy day in the garage for you. So therefore, the site's gonna call this a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you at least 30 minutes, depending on how fast you like to work from start to finish. Now, to give you a better idea of how this one might go down on your EcoBoost at home, let's throw it out to the garage for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you will need an impact, an extension, a swivel adapter, 7, 8, and 10 millimeter sockets, a 19 millimeter wrench, and needle nose pliers. What's up guys, today we're going to be doing an intake on our Mustang, but before we get started we're going to send you to watch a quick video on how to remove your factory intake, and we'll see you when you get back.
First step in uninstalling our factory airbox is to use a 7 millimeter socket to loosen up the band clamp holding on the factory airbox here. We're going to disconnect our sensor, pop off a couple of clips on the airbox itself, and pull it off. Next step to remove our factory air filter is to grab your ratchet, small extension, and your 10 millimeter socket and remove the bolt holding it to the firewall. All right, there's a couple of hoses we have to disconnect from the factory tubing leading back to the turbo. Now I'm going to use needle nose pliers to disconnect some of the hose clamps. I can do some by hand with my thumb, which I'll show you in just a second. And then for the last clamp holding it to the turbo, you're going to want to have a decent extension, possibly a swivel socket to make your life easier, and then a 7 millimeter socket for your last clamp. So what we're going to do now, disconnect those hoses with the needle nose, and we'll work from there. All right, so we're going to use our needle nose to disconnect the hose clamp on our air bypass valve hose. Go ahead and pinch that. If you are physically able, which I apparently am not. So here is this gray plastic PCV hose connect that you're going to remove. You can pinch this back with your needle nose pliers, or you can reach your finger in there. It's a little hot. Push up on the connect and disconnect it from the hose. All right, we've got our extension on our ratchet, our 7 mil at the end of a universal swivel joint. Gonna go ahead and loosen up the clamp at our turbo. All right, can rotate our clamp here and we'll be able to disconnect our hose from the turbo. And remove your factory hose from the engine bay.
Alrighty folks, welcome back. Now that we have our factory intake off, we can begin installing our new setup. We're going to start with our new airbox, but before we can place this on, we need to install our provided grommet into the mounting hole where our original 10 millimeter bolt came out of. So we'll come to the back of it and get our grommet in place. Just want to work that into the seat on the grommet. Make sure that's sitting nice and evenly. And we're going to spin that around. And on the side where the head of the bolt's going to go, which is inside the airbox, we're going to add in a provided sleeve. Just want to push that into place, and we can set our airbox in. You want to make sure you still have access to your intake air temp plug. Put this down, line it up with our air dam and our mounting hole as well. Now once we have that in position, we will reinstall our factory 10 millimeter bolt to mount this in place. Get that started. We'll come in with our 10 mil socket with an extension and a swivel. Tighten that down. Next, we're going to install our grommet where our intake tube is going to come through into our airbox and mount to our air filter. So it's going to go right here. Just like the smaller grommet, just want to work that into place. Make sure that seats all the way. Don't lose track of your plug. Alright guys, so we got our new intake air tube up on the table, and we will need to add a few things to it before we install it onto the vehicle. The first of which is going to be our new PCV fitting. That's going to go right in here to this opening. We'll get that threaded in. And you want to go as far down as you can by hand. And we're going to take a 19 millimeter wrench and just snug this down. This is a plastic tapered fitting. You do not want to over tighten this. It will break. Okay, now that we've got that snug, we're going to add in our reducer coupling for our turbo side of our intake. So first we're going to take our larger clamp, Slide that onto the larger end of our coupler. Get that in position. Now we're just going to snug this down. We're not going to fully tighten it just yet, but you do want to be mindful of the orientation so you can have access to this coupler and clamp if you need to once it's on the vehicle. So we're going to take our 8mm socket. And again, we're just snugging this down just so it doesn't move around on us too much. Now once that's done, we're going to come back to the filter side. We're going to add in our new retainer grommet for our intake air temp sensor, and it has a little dowel on the side to where that's supposed to sit. We're going to get this in place. Make sure that's sitting in the right orientation. Next, we're going to need to grab our factory intake air temp sensor out of our original intake tube. So that's just going to be a twist and pull. Now, this might be a little bit stuck in there, so you want to be gentle with it. Find the right spot. Should come out. And once you have that out, and transfer that right over to our new intake tube. We're going to line up our retainers and get that into place. Now we can get our intake tube into position. So we'll get this down to our turbo and we'll add in our fitting to our factory size end of our intake tube. We'll get this in position. Get that onto our air inlet, as well as getting our filter side lined up. You want to make sure this is sitting nice and square. Now we can tighten up both of our clamps on this side. So we'll grab our 8mm socket and a swivel adapter with an extension. This is a bit of a tight spot, so just take your time with it. Next, we'll get our PCV fitting onto our new intake tube. Make sure that snaps down into place, as well as our other tube. Grab our pliers, open up our clamp, get that onto our fitting. Next, we'll get our IIT sensor plugged in. And we can install our air filter. Now we've got our clamp around the filter before we install it. And get this down onto our intake tube. That's set up. Make sure that's sitting properly. We'll grab our 8mm socket and tighten down our clamp. Then we can install our cover. So this just snaps into place. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our JLT cold air intake with snap-in lid and red dry filter for your 15 to 23 Mustang EcoBoost. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.